Alright, so this morning we've just decided to take it easier on breakfast. Been having too many eggs, too many pancakes.
Yeah.
So we just went down to the Arts Cafe, grabbing a couple of light snacks, some orange juice, some more coffee. And Janetta's having the healthiest thing. She's having some granola and parfait. So Janetta's continuing her streak. She says her yogurt parfait is so thick it's like cheese. Yeah, but she'll eat some of it. Have some cappuccino and orange juice. So just a light breakfast today. All right, what are your names?
I'm Elsie Dixon.
And I'm Talbert Dixon.
Elsie and Talbert Dixon. They are viewers of our channel. Cool.
Yes.
We met another couple too that were viewers, so
Yeah.
I like to record people's names. So look for a video in about probably 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
And you'll be in it.
Awesome.
All right, so we had pizza delivered to our room today. We were upstairs, didn't feel like sitting outside in the heat, so I went over to the restaurant and said, "Can I get a pizza to take back to my room?" And they said, "Yeah, but you can just order from room service." And I said, "We can order pizza from the restaurant and room service?" He said, "Yeah, just dial them up. They'll deliver it to you nice and hot. You don't have to worry about carrying it around yourself." So 9 days into the cruise, we learned that we can order pizza whenever the pizzeria is open from 11 to 11. Why don't they tell us these things? Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we have our antipasti. But the weird thing is, we deliver it to you. We're 2 people sitting here. So if one of us eats something, it's gone. Yeah, there's not 2 of like the different bruschetta. That's weird. All right, so we have a load of bread. And their bread here on Christmas dinner was probably the best thing about the dinner. And we got balsamic and olive oil. I think we have pepper there, but it might be salt. Regardless, there's only one of them. No salt and pepper. So they must be pretty confident in their spicing. Okay, so I had the sage and butter gnocchi, and Janetta had a seafood stew. Okay, thank you. That's enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
You want some on yours? Okay. Netta had some seafood stew. She's going to taste the sauce first. Mm-hmm. You need salt and pepper. Yeah. We have. All right, Janetta was kind of so-so on her seafood stew. She does a lot better when she puts some salt and pepper in it. My gnocchi, there it is. It's probably one of the best dishes that I've had in a restaurant so far. It's pretty good. Janetta agrees. I gave her some. We're having bolognese. This is not bolognese. This is a duck ragu over tagliatelle. Okay. But it tastes good. But once you eat it, it tastes exactly like Chef Boyardee lasagna from the can. It has the exact same flavor. It's not bad, but it's just weird. Good morning. Today is Sunday, December 29th, and we are currently in a holding pattern proceeding slowly towards the mouth of the Panama Canal, just outside a city called Cologne. Today we'll be transiting the Panama Canal. We're supposed to head into the mouth of the canal at 7:30 and go through the first locks about that time. We're going to be continuing through the Panama Canal until about 4:30 today. So I'm going to be running back and forth between decks, trying to get the best views of the operation of the canal and how the ship goes through. Starting the morning off with some coffee out here on our veranda, And we have room service breakfast coming sometime between 7 and 7:30. But Joybeck is usually within the first 10 minutes. I'll have to remind Joybeck to bring more creamer because Janetta is out. So she's being a man today and drinking black coffee and making faces the whole time. I would turn around and show you Janetta, but she's in her pajamas, has her do-rag on.
It's not a do-rag. It's a bonnet.
It's a bonnet. Yeah. The entrance to the canal is in the port of Cologne in Cologne City. You first pass under the Atlantic Bridge. Around 7:30 or so, I went up to the Horizon Lounge to try to get a good viewing spot. Turns out 7:30 was a little too late. But I did manage to wedge myself into an empty space a little bit later on. In the first set of locks, the Gatun locks, the ship was lifted 85 feet over a series of 3 locks. In this basic lock operation, the water is pumped out of the lock ahead of us, the gate is open, and then we moved into that lock. Once in the lock, the gate behind us is closed and water is pumped in from the next lock to bring us up to the higher level. The ship proceeds through the locks under its own power. However, the ship is tethered to these large electric engines referred to as mules. Because in the early days of the canal, the ships were pulled through using mule power. The mule's job is to keep the ship centered as it proceeds through the canal. And as you can see, the tolerances are pretty tight. It almost felt like if we reached far enough, we could touch the sides of the canal. Now we are exiting the first part of the Panama Canal into the lake. After being lifted 85 feet, we proceeded through Gatun Lake before we got to the next set of locks, which are going to lower us 85 feet. Prior to entering the Pedro Miguel locks, you pass under the Centennial Bridge. The first lock is the Pedro Miguel lock, which leads us into Miraflores Lake. Pedro Miguel lock, we were lowered 31 feet. And then we headed to the final locks, the Miraflores Locks. And on this lock, it looks like they set up a very, very popular visitor center and viewing platform. So we are near the end of the Panama Canal, the last set of locks. And there is a gigantic viewing center here. There's this observation deck that looks like hamster wheels on its full of people, and then there's people lining the street or the fence down there, and then there's a whole other building that people are out on the balcony. From our balcony, I tried to get the viewing crowd riled up. Hey! Come on! Come on, more! In this final set of locks, we were lowered an additional 54 feet. More! Make some noise! Woo! And there you have it, the Panama Canal. As we left the canal, we traversed under the Bridge of the Americas and into the port of Balboa in Balboa City. Now we head back out to the open ocean, the Pacific. That evening, we headed down to the lounge for music and drinks, and then over to Atlantide for dinner. Tonight we are at Atlantide. It's our first time eating here for dinner. And we are having the seafood chowder. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Janetta's talking horses, so she hasn't had any of the soup yet.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it.
Yeah.
We travel everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's another lady I talked to.
With the shrimp curry. It's very fragrant. Janetta's having lobster tail.
Grilled lobster.
tail. All right. Good lobster. All right. So this is actually a win. At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
They put a lot of peppers.
I know.
Well, Janetta did
I
not
had
get
one
dressed,
last
but this is actually really good. This is our first time, 10 nights into the cruise, and our first time going to the main restaurant for dinner. It's actually pretty good. And despite Janetta's protestations, Atlantide was pretty good. And so we found another good one that we can actually eat at. Yeah. But enjoyed it. So it was a good day traversing the canal. This was the main point of us going on this cruise, so it was a highlight. Our previous night's dinner at La Terrazza was a bit of a disappointment, as we've come to expect on this cruise, but tonight's dinner at Atlantide was very good. So again, this cruise is hit or miss with the food. Tomorrow is another sea day, and then we'll be stopping in Manta, Ecuador. We'll see you next week.